Push it. Tap. Just tap it. Yep. We're good. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everybody being here at our January 24th Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. Really appreciate everybody in attendance. And before we get started, I call the meeting to order. I do want to thank Rob and the City Commission for allowing us the opportunity to use this space. I always love being here, man. It's very professional, and I love the feel of your all's chambers, and we really appreciate you letting us use it. And hopefully we won't wear out our welcome. So thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Pastor Collins.
Here.
Pastor Lockmiller.
Here.
Pastor Hughes.
Here.
Pastor Buckner.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite my new friend, Brandon Robbins from Revival House Church up to lead us in a word of prayer. Brandon, I really appreciate you being here today.
It's an honor, a real honor to be here, and thank you very much for letting me do this. And I see that one of the first on the list is the rehabilitation center, rehabilitation men's, and I really just, from what I've been through, I was actually an addict before I ever got out of high school. So that's good that you have these things. All of them are good things on there. I just seen that was the first, and I'm just going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you, God. We thank you for this opportunity to be able to make decisions in Madison County, God. Lord, we thank you, Lord, that you gave us these opportunities, God, by giving us life, God. Lord, and right now I ask, Lord, for wisdom, God. You said in your book of James that if we ask for wisdom, we will have wisdom, God. Lord, we ask wisdom, the holy wisdom that you have, God, Lord, to be able to give us the right direction and decisions to make here today and ongoing forth for the rest of the year 2023, God, Lord. And I pray, Lord, that this year 2023, God, be better than the previous and recent years, God, Lord, that the decisions, not only the decisions made, Lord, but God, Lord, that you put your hand in every decision made in this place, God, in Madison County Fiscal Court, God. Lord, we thank you, God, Lord, for your salvation above all, Lord, and we thank you that you take place in our lives, Lord, in Jesus' name, and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Brandon.
Yes.
Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Everyone, please rise and place our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Thanks, Sheriff. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over our previous meeting minutes. That was on January the 10th, 2023. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Pastor Collins.
Yes.
Pastor Lockmiller.
Yes.
Pastor Hughes.
Yes.
Pastor Buckner.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, our treasurer's report. We always have it on our fourth Tuesday meeting. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning. As you see in your Dropbox, the financial statement through 12/31/2022, our total fund balance is $33,872,239.52. Our revenues for our general fund at this time, as of 12/31/2022, is 65.3%. Our expenditures are at 26.3%. Road fund revenues are at 55.8%. Our expenditures are at 46.4%. Jail fund revenues are at 64.6%, and our expenditures are at 49%. LGEA fund revenues are at 53.3%, our expenditures are at 1.9%. CSEP fund revenues are at 19.6%, our expenditures are at 18.7%. 911 fund, the revenues are at 49.4%, our expenditures are at 39.7%. Our health fund, our revenues are at 37.3%, our expenditures are at 57.2%. And clerk's fund revenues are at 33.1%, our expenditures are at 8.6%. And as we mentioned before, the health fund, the reason the expenditures are high and the revenues are lower is because we had payment in last year's fiscal year for some claims that came out in this fiscal year, which kind of offsided it. Plus the December payment of from all the entities did not go until like January 3rd. So
if you take that into consideration,
if you take that into consideration, we would be at like 44%, and our expenditures still be at 57.2%. Does anybody have any questions or any questions about the claims?
The only other thing that I would let them know is that we do have a opioid settlement fund.
Yes, I don't list the opioid settlement fund or the ARPA fund because there really is no, it's just a fund that's sitting there. There's nothing going on in it. If we start spending out of it, then I will start reporting it, but it's the same because it's just money sitting in there. But it is listed above. You can tell what the balances are. So if you look at the ARPA fund, it's got $8,366,274.39, and the opioid fund has $523,548.01 in it.
And that was the first amount of money that we got from our opioid settlement. And DLG required us to actually have its own fund, so that's why it's there.
Just as a comment, Judge, you were asking about the claims. I saw a claim down on page 12 of it that was a change order to the alert FM receivers. And I was a little concerned when I first saw it simply because the change order was for $321,000. And one of the change orders was for almost $130,000, which was for additional inbound freight cost. I thought, man, that's just a lot of money for something that we should have been able to negotiate up front. And the second one was for change order 2 was for $191,000, and it was for additional cost for processing. And so I called Chief and talked to him just a little bit about yesterday and got the answer that I was searching for, was that, we did have the additional radios that they purchased, but the main driver for the cost was drop shipping. They're drop shipping those from the vendor to the organization that's receiving them and programming them, who is then going to send them out to the public.
Yes.
So it's like, well, I guess if you add that factor in, there's a lot of money that'll be spent there. But so anyway, I just...
Yes, and that is completely reimbursed by the CSAT program,
Yeah,
for
it
federal
is.
grant.
All right, thank you, Glenn. If you're up there, any questions for our treasurer?
Judge, what is the opioid money set for? The settlement money, what's looking at being spent?
So once we get a good understanding of what it actually can be spent on, we'll be presenting that to you all. We won't be doing anything with those funds until we bring a plan together. But I do know some things like, men's treatment. It can be used for prevention. There's a lot of different things that are in the list, which is part of the negotiations with the settlement.
That should be all we bring in this year, but then each year you'll get a payment that it's going to go over the next 25 years, or it goes to 2038, I think.
Yeah,
at least.
the longest one I think was 18 years, but
Yeah.
they're all different. Some are 7, 6,
Yeah.
8, 10.
Receive money on.
Yeah.
Very limited. I mean, we still get notices as they come through.
I just had a question of what could be spent on it.
There's a delineated list that's required. It's just a little vague as to what some of the things on the list mean and what we can actually categorize into them. So there's constant movement in that as well.
Just like in the ARPA funds, when they first set out the first
Yeah.
rules, they've changed tremendously since then. So I feel like these will too, as people start spending the money and asking what they'll get more detailed of what we can spend it on.
And just for y'all's knowledge, I'm planning on having an executive session next fiscal court meeting just to discuss litigation. So just FYI, bring y'all up to speed on where we're at with the opioid litigations, okay?
I do have one more question, Judge, and maybe Steve knows the answer to this. Both of you may know. But I saw a claim for $50,000 from Western Kentucky Correctional Healthcare, which I assume is the provider in the jail. Is that correct? And I guess what I wanted to know was $35,000 of that claim was for February of 23. Are we paying them in advance for their services over there?
I think we were
Yes.
catching up for several months at one time.
Well,
As I
actually, we
understood
do pay in advance for their services. It's in the contract.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's typical.
We have to pay them before February. We have to pay them before February 1st. So it would be in this claim in January.
All right. That's just unusual to make a payment for services.
We questioned that because that's not how our past was. So when they started sending the bills through, we questioned that, and it was in the contract.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right, thanks, Glenn. Any questions? All right, appreciate it. First order of business today is discuss City of Richmond Men's Rehabilitation Center. Rob, appreciate you being here to present to the court.
Good morning. Our casa is your casa, so you're welcome as long as you want to stay.
We won't wear out our welcome.
The discussion you're having about the opioid settlement money is kind of why I'm here today. I want to talk about a potential partnership with the county to possibly bring a men's rehab center to Richmond. As you all know, Madison County and Richmond are some of the fastest growing counties and cities in the state, but unfortunately with that, we have one of the highest overdose rates per capita as well. Jimmy Cornelson, last week I was talking to him, and I guess we had 69 overdoses in 2022 with one pending. We've already had 5 this year with one pending. About a year ago, we partnered with the Bluegrass Area Development District and the Fletcher Group to start working on an EDA grant application. Now, EDA is the Economic Development Administration at the federal level. We also started searching for property that was within a qualified census tract that was suitable for a men's recovery center. To this day, the application is complete and in queue to be submitted, and we have actually secured an option on a property for the project. Phase 1 of this project will create 40 recovery beds. Phase 2 will create an additional 55 longer-term beds. All of these beds are open to priority populations, which includes diversion from the jail for nonviolent drug offenders. So if we got to where we got this facility opened, you could divert folks from the jail to these beds if they were nonviolent drug offenders. The total cost of the project is approximately $6 million. The EDA grant application is for $3 million. The City of Richmond is willing to use $1.5 million of its opioid settlement money for the project, and I'm asking the fiscal court to consider matching the $1.5 million with its opioid settlement money. I think it's important to point out that, especially to the public, this isn't coming from your general fund. This is coming from the opioid settlement money. We've received our first payments, and I think they amount to about $480,000. And if I'm not mistaken, we receive, like y'all were talking about, 18 more payments. And I think there's another settlement that's getting ready to happen that would be in addition to that. We anticipate support letters from our state and federal elected officials, and an interlocal agreement between the two governments would only strengthen our application. So, this is one of the missing pieces of the puzzle in our community. We've got a women's rehab center. We've got God's Outreach Food Bank. The city is very invested in Madison Home, which serves the homeless and addiction, and they're making great strides, to be quite honest with you. They have a social worker now that can do casework, and they're helping with mental health, addiction, and homelessness. And the city has invested $150,000 in that program just in this year. We've also added a job description to our Richmond Police Department for a social worker, and we haven't hired for that position yet, but that'll be added to our RPD group, and that individual can do casework. That initial contact with a homeless person or somebody with addiction problems, if you can get them to the right resources and get them help, that's the first start. What I'd like to do is, and Judge Taylor and I've talked about this, is I'd like to have an interlocal agreement for you all to review, and then you could vote on it at the next meeting. And that gives you about 3 weeks, actually, to review the agreement and ask myself or Judge Taylor any questions you might have. So with that, I'd like to open up the floor for any questions.
Mr. Minders, what do you think would be the time frame should the grant be approved from breaking ground to operational?
It would be between 12 and 18 months. And this all hinders on getting the EDA grant from the feds. And what we're hearing from our consultants at Bluegrass Ad and the Fletcher Group is if we have an interlocal agreement like this with two governments, it shows that the project is fully funded. It's very likely we could get the $3 million grant from the feds. They haven't opened up the application process on the federal level yet, so we've got the application in queue, and we feel like we can sit on it for another 30, 45 days at the most, and add the letters and possibly an interlocal agreement with you all to strengthen the application. And they probably won't award the money, Tom, until probably late summer, fall. And so if we receive the award at that time, it would be fall of '24, spring of '25 before you would see this open up.
You already have land purchased for that.
We just have an option on the property, and it is located within a qualified census tract. And it's actually a property that will be renovated, so we won't have to build new. Building a new property was going to be between $12 and $14 million. So we've identified a property that can be renovated and actually has 3 phases to it, really.
The interlocal agreement, will that also consider and include operational cost?
The interlocal agreement is for the construction of the facility to open it, and then my understanding is New Vista would actually operate it. So to answer your question, no, it would just be for the construction of the facility.
Thank you.
And there's no obligation to either government either to pay any money for operations. That'll be by a third party.
You know, it would seem that there's an indication that this might help us with our jail, that there might be some relocation of individuals that are better served there than they would be in the jail.
You're dead on, Steve. As one of the conversations that we had when we've discussed this was, could there be some specific beds that were specific to inmates that could be diverted from the jail and be in this facility?
There was a Senate bill, I think it was Senate Bill 90 a couple sessions ago, and Jenny probably knows more about this than I do, but has to do with front-end diversion with nonviolent offenders.
There's 11 counties that were placed in Senate Bill 90, Madison and Clark are one of them, being my judicial circuit district that we'll have to do. The first implementation for those 11 counties will take approximately 3 years, so we are not first. I believe Jefferson County are the first 2 counties to go into the pilot program, but we won't be the last of the 11 either, so we're in the middle. By the beginning of next year, we'll have implemented Senate Bill 90. It can come into play. I know Chris is telling me to turn my microphone off. I don't like it, Chris. So rehab will come into play, but it's going to be a statutory mandated diversion regardless. So it will require the Commonwealth Attorney to be on board and participate into that program. But it's going to be implemented in Madison County by statute as it is.
Good. I think it's, per Rob's earlier comment, I think it's the right direction. I think we can all see that. I guess the only question I would have is I've heard Madison County and I've heard Richmond, but I haven't heard anything about Berea.
Well, I reached out to Mayor Fraley and talked to him a little bit about it, and I kind of had a gut feeling that, they wouldn't want to participate because they're in Berea, and it actually worked out nicely because they have a project going on in Berea for a rehab center, and it's a private group. And so Bruce and I had a discussion, and he felt it was in their best interest just to support locally that facility.
Question I was going to
Yeah,
my question.
Ryan probably had that too.
It's a missed opportunity for Berea.
Yeah.
I do too, especially when it pertains to the jail.
Yeah.
We still send people to the jail, so it's a missed opportunity, but I understand,
We appreciate y'all considering an equal partnership in this. I mean, that's what it needs to be for our community when we address issues like this. So I think it's one of the missing pieces of the puzzle in our community. It seems like things are falling in place and I don't think as a local government we'll ever solve the homeless problem or the addiction problem, but I think it's our responsibility to support the services to where people have an opportunity to change their lives. And that's all we can do. but you've got Madison Home, you've got God's Outreach, we've seen a couple of these transition houses open up for people, Oxford House, and the Enrich program, which is going to employ people coming out of recovery and house them as well. The city's highly invested in that. We'll present a check tonight for $100,000 so they can purchase that property on 2nd Street. So again, I think all we can do is get the pieces in place and offer the services.
We appreciate y'all cleaning up that exit 98. That was a pretty big eyesore.
Well, and I want to say, Judge and I and Jill were in a meeting last week, and I brought up that we were going to go ahead and do it, and so it was a partnership as well. Reagan jumped in and provided us with inmate labor, and we used a big dumpster truck from you all as well, so that was, you all helped with that as well. But, you know, and we worked on that starting in November with our codes enforcement people, making contact with those homeless people, getting them moved, and making sure they had services they needed to get the help they needed. I haven't seen any bad media spin on this yet, but they're still poking around. But I want to be clear that we did all our work up front, and I walked through the camps that Tuesday prior to us cleaning them up, and there wasn't anybody there. And so when we started that project on Friday, we had RPD, fire department, you all's help, and it's like night and day out there. So we appreciate that as well.
I appreciate your leadership.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? If it's a pleasure of the court, I mean, we'll...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to add a comment, Judge, and I think we've talked about this in the past, and for the benefit of the other magistrates, we have another, well, let me back up. It'll take an effort from all of us. It won't just be one government, as Richmond or the county or Imperial, because the problem's countywide. And so it'll take all of us to not solve it, but we can all address the problem. And with that, back in October, we had the opportunity to get and receive a briefing from Madison Home. And just for the benefit of the other magistrate, I asked Melissa Sloan, if she was the director of Madison Home, if she would come today and just tell us a little bit about the home out there and your funding needs, and that could also be something that we can consider in our future efforts with the opioid abatement money, if we may.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Mr. Mayor. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. You snuck in on me. I didn't see you.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you, Tom, for inviting me to come here. I appreciate that. Reagan, it's good to see you again. So at Madison Home, of course, we serve the unhoused, not just here in Richmond, but those in Berea as well. And we are starting to see an influx from those folks from surrounding counties, including Estill, Irvin, all these areas where we are serving those folks. Madison County as a whole is seeing this growing crisis on our hands with our unhoused population, as Tom just referred to the clearing of that encampment off exit 90. Yes, I agree. It was an eyesore. But now all of those folks are coming to see us at Madison Home, and where are they? They're going to go. We don't have a place for them to go. For those of you who don't know, Madison Home is the shelter located on 5th Street, directly across from the library. We are not open at this time because we still require a significant amount of renovations to bring the building up to code. I appreciate Mayor Blythe and Rod for being here, because they've been very supportive of the efforts that we are making at Madison Home. And like Rob said, the city of Richmond has been great and is contributing $150,000 out of ARPA funds so that we can continue to operate at Madison Home. current services being offered at Madison Home. Although we are not housing, we are serving in the way we have case management. The Narcan harm reduction van comes to see us twice a month and offer needle exchanges. We have peer support, we have therapists, we have health care twice monthly from Baptist Health. We are also having conversations for Baptist Health to start serving MAT treatment. We're working with another organization that will start serving psychiatry services at Madison Home. With that being said, with additional ARPA funding being out there, I've reached out to Mayor Fraley. I have a meeting scheduled with him in the upcoming weeks to talk about bringing Berea in to help fund the ongoing services at Madison Home, and I would really appreciate if the county would consider making a contribution to Madison Home as well for ongoing services that we are offering there, and to get our doors open so that our unhoused population do have a place to come. This rehab for men, that's going to be tremendous, but where are they going to go when they finish rehab? They're more than likely going to come to us at Madison Home because they don't have a place to go. They need to work with the case manager so that they can sign and get stable for housing. They need to apply for jobs. We have to have a place in the county that can serve our unhoused population. This is not just a Richmond crisis, this is a county crisis. Where are folks going when they get discharged from the hospital? They're taking up hospital beds. They have nowhere to go. They're taking up jail cells. They have nowhere to go. We have to address this unhoused population problem. You guys have any questions?
Your facility can house, or could house, it's not.
Between 50 and 60.
How many people?
Between 50 and 60 additional beds is what we could potentially house at Madison Home if we are able to complete those renovations to open our doors. Currently, we are housing folks each night of the week in different churches. We are housing in motels when we run into issues with that. So we are having to spend money to house people in hotels because the facility is not open.
What do you anticipate the cost that you need for your renovations?
Back in October, that cost was roughly around $150,000. I anticipate with growing inflation, we're probably looking at between $150,000 to $300,000 at this time. That doesn't even include what it would cost for ongoing services once the doors are open to continue that. We would like to be able to eventually look into hiring a grant writer so that we don't have to just rely on the city or the county, but we can be actively seeking grants. My position is currently a volunteer position, so I don't get paid for anything that I do at Madison Home.
Why do you do it?
We have no one else to do it, unfortunately, and I just have a need to serve this population. I had my own 501(c) 7 years ago that I provided services to the homeless. Unfortunately, I am now a mom and had to go back to work. So on top of the services that I provide as the executive director, at Madison Home, I've been a social worker with New Vista for over 15 years now. I also serve as a case manager for a substance abuse treatment facility in Lexington, and I continue to provide ongoing case management services at Madison Home as well. So I'm in a dual role here. Not only am I having to run the day-to-day, I also provide case management for folks.
If you had funding, how soon do you think you'd be operational?
Ideally, we've had run into some hiccups. We have to get some, because the building, the old hospital is the building that we operate out of. It's so old, there's no plans drawn up, so we have to work with an architecture to get those plans drawn up. I would think within the next 12 months, if not sooner if we had those funds.
Does Madison Home own that building, or is it owned by a private person?
what's happened is a doctor has purchased the building and is generous and leases the building to Madison Home for $1 a year.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, I just wanted to say that I just asked her to come and tell us about it and tell you gentlemen about it. I've heard this before, but it's just simply because it's another avenue and another resource to help with the problem. You know, I think that we should support the city in their effort to get the grant. We're looking at, 18 months after the grant's received, which who knows how long that takes, but it does take some time. And this could be an immediate stopgap to help get things up and running, and then association along with, because theirs is not just for men, it's men, women, families. They take care of a gamut. So it's another resource that we can have to address the problem with.
I agree with you, Tom. I just think at some juncture, we're going to have to bring Berea back to the table. It's a county problem.
Well,
Yes.
in the,
And Berea has
Yes.
a room in the inn. It's Madison Home, and Berea has a room in the inn. And just for y'all's knowledge, we had a joint meeting, 2 months ago, probably.
Yeah, back
3
in
months
October,
ago.
end of October. Correct.
And it was Madison Home, it was room in the inn, it was leadership, mayors were there, I was there, Tom was there, it was at the extension office. And so trying to get a coordinated effort of how we're really
Yeah, and that's all I'm really asking for.
And room in the inn, they are still housing in hotels because Berea does not have a building to house the unhoused. We have a building, we just need to renovate, and it can provide an immediate need to our unhoused population that would serve the county as a whole.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with the room at the inn because I used to attend a church in town here and participated several nights in overnight stays with the homeless. So it's a great program. The program that you do here is great. I just wanted to make sure there was a coordinated effort in the county rather than everybody trying to do their own thing, which
Absolutely.
seems to be the case from time to time.
Yeah, we've dealt with this. We've dealt with this drug epidemic. I mean, this is what this all stems to, in my opinion, is the drug epidemic. We've dealt with this since I've been in office, and we tried to be creative in coming up with solutions, that result to a return on investment, right? I don't think you can ever go wrong investing in somebody's life that's in the pits of hell, in my opinion, because they ultimately become, if we can get them out of that pit, that they become a taxpayer, right? They become a productive citizen of society. But I do feel like that the county it is doing a lot. The county is spending a lot of taxpayer dollars because we're responsible for the jail, right? And I think sometimes we lose sight of that, what our jail has become. Our jail has become a homeless shelter. Our jail has become a medical facility, right? A hospital, a doctor's office. It's become a psychiatric mental hospital, right? It's a cafeteria. Our jails have become all that. And who's paying for that? Who's responsible for paying for that? We are as a fiscal court, right? Through the taxpayer dollars, we're paying for that. So I don't want us to ever lose sight of we're not doing anything, because we are doing a lot, and there's still things that we can do.
That's right. And
I think we do have to play a supportive role, but I mean, in my opinion, right now, every year, we're spending $4 million a year towards this, just through the detention center.
And I just don't think that, we need to utilize our jail as a homeless shelter. We don't need to utilize our hospital as a homeless shelter. We need to have a homeless shelter for that, so that our unhoused population, unfortunately, is not taking up those cells from the criminals that need them, and our unhoused are not taking up those hospital beds from those who need to be there.
Yeah.
So thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just think it's good to know too, Judge, that, Melissa, thank you for coming. I think it's good to know and understand that, when we previously, years ago, tried to address this problem, there was things that we didn't know at that time. I've said this before, it would be good if all public servants had a crystal ball that you could look in and see what the future was going to bring. But, we attempted to address this problem once before, and we just met with a lot of resistance. And I understand that, and I get it, but at the same time, we didn't know that today was going to be here. We didn't know that federal money was going to pour out of Washington, and that there would be funds here available to support these facilities and the opportunity to partner with Richmond, for these type of centers. So,
And
I just want to say,
and just to make sure the opioid settlement dollars too is there, Tom.
Yep.
And that's not coming out of Washington. That's
Right.
coming out of the lawsuits
Yes.
from all those pharmaceutical companies and stuff. So I want to clarify to make sure that taxpayers don't think that, that those are actual federal tax dollars when you say it's coming out of Washington. Talking with Rob, we're in the interlocal agreement, it's obviously going to state in there that we would use our opioid settlement dollars to fund this project.
Right.
And so if we had to borrow, the money for that, and then as we get in our opioid settlement dollars, we would pay that debt down.
Right.
But as of right now, and you all saw in your transfer on the financial report, we've only received $523,000, I think, of the opioid settlement funds. And I don't think because some of those going they were for 2 years, right? They paid 2 years in a row. So we might not receive any of that pot next year. It might be this year, I guess now. It might be 2024 before we receive those.
There's also a separate opioid suit that's still pending.
And it's getting close, and so that'll be another pot. But again, this one that we just got funds for was settled 2 years ago, so it takes some time for that money to trickle down. But the thing that's good about government bonding, or the loan part of it, is if you can make that as part of when money's come in, that it pays it. So, it's not like it's got to be paid in that moment. We know that we're going to receive more than that amount of money, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's also good for the public to remember as well, Judge, that our fiscal court was one of the first to join in on that lawsuit. Of course, the state ended up seeing what was happening and got a big hunk of the pie, obviously 50%, but Madison County was one of the first fiscal courts to jump in on it and be a part of that lawsuit.
Yeah.
And Judge, if I may, just so the fiscal, I know we've got the new fiscal court members coming through, trying to learn everything that's going on. As you were talking about what we do and how it impacts the jail and stuff, I want to make sure you all understand, within the court system, we already have programming and stuff in place. We need places to send them. So Madison homes and residency, and obviously when they do leave the jail. But like our office is already involved. Baptist Health came to us and reached out. We took a program upon ourselves. It requires my people. We don't get any benefit out of it. But we already divert all low-level drug felony offenders. If it's not fentanyl, anything less than fentanyl is what I'll look at. So methamphetamine, pills, anything like that, we are already sending them either to drug court through a state-funded program through drug court, or we're sending them through Baptist Health CDIOP program. So if they're already a first or second offense and there's nothing else on their record for that, we're already diverting them out of the jail. They're not sitting in jail on a first-time possession charge. They're not sitting in jail on a second-time possession charge. So those people, we need things outside of the jail to house them, to give them the follow-up services, and we try to work with whoever, whether it's the Baptist Health, whether it's New Vista, we work with them. We work with Liberty Place, anything like that we can do. So we want to work with them as that, but we as a county are already trying to attack that problem. They're not the ones filling our jail cells. And of course, as we mentioned before, Senate Bill 90 isn't just to divert them out of the jail. It's a wraparound service provided. It's a state-funded mandate that they're going to try to come in now, where they're getting the funding and how well it's going to be structured in the beginning, of course, is questionable, but to provide those services and work with different facilities to be able to provide places for them to go, treatment for them to receive, whether psychiatric, medically assisted, or behavioral, all wrap around behavioral health too. So there are multiple things going on. It's always just trying to get everybody to communicate and work together on it, kind of what Magistrate Lockmuller was saying.
As far as next steps, pleasure of the court, are y'all interested in looking at an interlocal agreement and being presented to you all at the next fiscal court meeting, which will be February the 14th? Probably, it's Love Day, Billy, right? It might be a good day to present this, you know. Our hearts will be full, right? And then also, Melissa, if you wouldn't mind, could I, maybe do y'all have any kind of budget for Madison Home? Do y'all have any kind of formal budget? Do you have a board? Okay. Maybe when you get some, a budget together, if you maybe let me see that, present that to me, and then maybe we can present that to fiscal court members and maybe see what we can do. Okay? All right. Anything else? Rob, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Great presentation. Appreciate you being here. Next on the agenda is Resolution 2023-08. This is a ASAP Harm Reduction Grant application for fiscal year 23. A resolution confirming the Madison County Fiscal Court to serve as the applicant agent for the fiscal year 23 ASAP Harm Reduction Grant and authorizing the judge executive to sign on behalf of the county. Whereas the Madison County Agency for Substance Abuse Policy Board wishes to apply for the fiscal year 23 ASAP Harm Reduction Grant through the Kentucky ASAP. And whereas the ASAP Board needs a local government to serve as its applicant agent, and whereas the fiscal court finds it to be the public interest to continue to address our drug epidemic through education and awareness. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to serve as the applicant agent and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
For members that don't know, this is Laura Nagel. Laura is our chairman of our ASAP board. I don't know if that's the correct title, but that's what I'm going to call it. But Laura also works at our health department and been there for
a good while.
Good while, yeah.
Yeah.
So appreciate you being here, Laura. If y'all have any questions about ASAP, part of the resolution is kind of a description of potential expenditure for that $20,000 ASAP grant, which is what we apply for. If y'all have any questions for Laura, y'all could ask those at this time. And then, obviously, to approve this, we need a motion and a second for Resolution 2023-08.
That ASAP board, that ties in with everything we've been talking about.
Absolutely. So ASAP is Agency for Substance Abuse Policy. It started in 2000 through tobacco settlement funds, so very similar to this opiate abatement money that's coming. So that's where all the money comes from every year, so from the tobacco settlement funds. You all have been our fiscal agent since 2001. We're one of the few boards in the state that have had a continuous fiscal agent for over 20 years. So we apply twice every year. One is for a general ASAP grant, which can include awareness, education, treatment, prevention, and then this is our harm reduction grant. So it's a separate pot of money that we can apply for, just focusing on harm reduction.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution.
Second.
All right, thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Pastor Hughes?
Yes.
Pastor Bucket?
Yes.
Pastor Combs?
Yes.
Pastor Lockmuller?
Yes.
Pastor Tucker?
Yes. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you all.
Appreciate what you do. Appreciate you a lot.
I just want to say, as a member of that board, I see the work that Laura does, and not just her. There's many others that are on that and associated with that, but we certainly appreciate the things that they do for our first responders and others.
Thanks, Tom. Next on our agenda is Resolution 2023-09. This is a self-contained breathing apparatus, also known as SCUBA bid award. Good Morning, Jill.
I am not chief. This is a resolution awarding a bid for the self-contained breathing apparatus, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids for projects in accordance with the administrative code, whereas Madison County Emergency Management Agency, CSEP, requested bids for the SCBA equipment to meet the needs of local career fire departments as planned and budgeted through the federal CSEP program. And whereas the bid notice was properly posted and Madison County EMA CSEP received one bid, and whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP team has reviewed said bid and wishes to award the amount in $122,000 to Atlantic Emergency Solutions and enter into a contract to purchase SCBA equipment. The total dollar amount consists of equal allotments of $40,666.66 each to purchase SCBA equipment for Madison County Fire Department, Richmond Fire Department, and Berea Fire Department. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2023-09, Judge.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have one question. I'm not sure, Jill, that you're able to.
Well, if I can, I've got backup, so
all right.
Give it at me.
This would be for the backup. In the associated documents that was sent to us, there was a very, very detailed description on what that you were searching for in those apparatuses. And I was just curious, your categories for each separate item listed that you were searching for had a meet, does not meet, and exceptions. You checked a box on there. I was just curious because the picture that I saw, which is a very good picture, might have been very detailed, but it didn't appear that it had everything as you were asking for certain colors on buttons and different things. I'm just curious, did you find everything that you were searching for in these apparatuses? Are you getting what you want?
Yes, absolutely. And this is a very weird bid because there's...
Hey, Cole.
You want to come to the...
Yeah.
Sorry, Cole. Nobody's watching. We'll be able to hear you.
Yes, this is a very detailed bid. There is a lot of different equipment other than just SCBAs that go along with this. We held a kind of meeting between all the fire chiefs and or someone from that department to come, and we looked over it and we found everything that we were looking for in those. This company is, we've used them before, I'm pretty sure, and they were very helpful. Anytime that we needed to talk to them about something, they were able to call. But yes, they went over everything and it was perfect.
Good. I'm sure glad you understood that, Cole, because when I looked at that, I knew Tom would understand it, but I didn't have a clue. So thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Well, I didn't understand it all, Steve, but I figured if it's as detailed as that, they must know exactly what they're looking for.
Amen. So. I got lost, Tom, when I started into that one.
Yeah, it was a dandy for sure.
And it is a joint project between all three fire chiefs.
I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
That happens a lot, actually.
I know it does. I'm going to push for more.
And in this case, I'll also say this for you all. Anything that's bought over their allotted amount, they pay for themselves through their money themselves on what they get. So even in the county's circumstance, I know Chief isn't here, but he'd be telling you this as well. He would use money out of a different fund for if anything goes over the $40,666.
And just for everybody's knowledge, Chief is on an emergency. That's why he would have been here, but he couldn't because of an emergency that happened. So, all right. We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2023-09. Hearing no more discussion, call the roll.
Pastor Buckin?
Yes.
Pastor Combs?
Yes.
Pastor Lockmiller?
Yes.
Pastor Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Cole. All right, next. Well, Jill's still up. This is on Resolution 2023-10. Refurbished 2001 Freightliner Fire Pumper Truck Engine 3 bid award.
Yes, this is a resolution awarding a bid for the Madison County Fire Department refurbishing of the 2001 Freightliner pumper truck, which is known as Engine 3, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids for projects in accordance with the administrative code, whereas the Madison County Fire Department requested bids for refurbishing the 2001 Freightliner pumper truck as planned and budgeted in the FY 22-23 budget, and whereas the bid notice was properly posted and the Madison County Fire Department received 2 bids, and whereas the Madison County Fire Chief Tim Gray has reviewed the bids and wishes to award the bid in the amount of $139,194.02 and enter into a contract with Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus for the refurbishing of a 2001 Freightliner pumper truck. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jill. Y'all have heard Resolution 2023-10. I need a motion and a second to approve.
I wish the chief been here. I had some questions on that. That truck down, is it usable right now?
Yes.
And is it going to be taken out of commission for this refurbishment? How long would it be out of commission for?
Well, I don't know. So this truck is a backup, Billy, right?
So it's a backup.
Yeah, this is not a truck that we use. When we decided back whenever the county bought the 2 new trucks back, I'm not sure, I believe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we decided to keep this truck as a backup because it was still a pretty good truck, right? Just had a lot of age on it. And for the last several years, we've talked about refurbishing it. We have, in the past, we kind of, I guess, postponed it just due to money and finances. We didn't feel like we had it in the budget, but this year we were able to get it in the budget, so we put out the awards. You know, our trucks, Scott and his team, and Scott's here to speak on behalf of this too. You can add whatever, Scott.
Yeah, he can talk about the refurbishment a little bit too, if that's...
But the trucks, our trucks that we have are really nice trucks, but they require maintenance and stuff like that. And so when our truck, maybe one of our trucks in the shop, this is kind of a truck that is a backup. Some of our roadways can be narrow, and sometimes this old truck comes in handy.
I just thought, it's $100,000, and I didn't know what kind of priority that was. That's just my question. And I'd hope to find out a little bit more about it. Personally, we don't have to act on this today, do we?
I'm not sure what the bid. I'm not sure what the bid was.
Generally, the bid, and I think this one's the same, is good for 30 days. And so if we don't act within that period of time, obviously, we can't hold that price. Any funds would not be expended because of the nature of how long it takes. No funds would actually be expended in this fiscal year. So those would carry over. And so we've talked with Glenna about that and about how that will work, of carrying on over the funds from this budget year and adding those potentially to next budget year, because we wouldn't make a payment until the refurbishment was complete.
That was just so much money. I wanted to look at the truck and just kind of understand.
Absolutely. I think that Chief and Scott would probably more than happy to show you the different components of the truck. Obviously, Chief did have an emergency, so we want him to take priority of that always. And so, but the bid will not be good for an extended period of time. I'm pretty sure, Scott and his mechanics teams have been very involved in this too. So for 30 days, so we would have to rebid the project if we determined to go beyond
the other part
that.
of this too was as our community grows, we all know that our community is growing. A little over 1% a year is what it's done over the last 10, I think. And so as we grow, there's going to be growth in services that we provide as well. And so obviously we thought that it would be good to have a backup engine if we ever had to do another station somewhere, if we need to expand our fire department, that we would already have an engine. And I think a good example of doing this, spending $130,000 on this truck to have it for the future is kind of goes back to a little bit, I think, of these snow trucks. If we'd bought 3 more 3 years ago, we'd been a lot happier buying them 3 years ago than what we're getting ready to be talking about with snow trucks here in a few minutes. So But we can do pleasure of the court. We can do whatever. We just need to figure out what our timeline is.
And if there's any questions Scott can answer about the refurbishment.
Do we have any time? Do we have enough time for our next fiscal court meeting, which is on February the 14th?
2/28 is when the bid will expire.
All right, so we do not. All right, so that's 3 days from now, 4 days from now.
2/28.
Into February, not.
February 28th.
Oh, 2/28.
Sorry, I'm a little.
All right, February the 28th, so we're good. So we can, if it's pleasure of the court to bring this up on the February 14th agenda, then I guess technically, Ms. Councilwoman, we
Somebody
can.
better make a motion to
Well,
do something.
We have a motion and a
We can
second
table
already.
it.
Okay, so we,
No, I don't think so.
no, there has to be a motion for something. It's up to you all to decide.
It's on the,
I'll make a motion, we postpone this resolution till
You
February
make a
14th.
motion to table it.
Table the
table the
resolution.
resolution to the next meeting.
Yep.
What I heard.
So we make a motion to table the resolution 2023-110 or 10.
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Just one thing, Scott, do you have any idea what a new truck would cost?
It'd be right at $1 million.
That's what I was thinking.
And that was our whole idea. We've been working on this concept for about 3 years. If a truck goes down now, the court needs to realize they don't have an engine, because they only have one engine per station. So we've actually been in the position where we've had to reach out to the city of Richmond and borrow an engine while these newer engines have been being worked on. And that's not a good way to leave our community, in my opinion. So we've been working on this. The closest bid that come in with this is like $180,000. So this company is gave us a really good bid on it. And what this basically does, after a fire truck gets 20 years old, Fire Commission considers it to be obsolete. So what this does is this sends this truck back in to the factory. They redo the truck, the lights will be updated, all the marker lights, headlights, interior, paint. It does not include motor or transmission. So, we have checked those things out, and we feel like that we can get at least 10 more years out of the motor and transmission. So this is just basically, it's basically prolonging $1 million purchase.
Can I ask you a question too, Scott?
Yeah.
So most of these fires are rural.
Yes.
So without a pumper truck, you don't spray water. You got a tank and a pump, because you can't hook right to a fire hydrant and have pressure.
That's true.
Is that correct? So you don't fight fire without a pumper truck.
Yep, and this truck's a little smaller than our larger engine, so this truck serves a dual purpose because we can actually take this truck places we cannot take our larger trucks.
And this truck's the engine.
Yes.
It's not what you consider a pumper tank.
It's both.
It's both?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So it
actually
does
carries
carry
water.
It's just not as much as our new ones do, and that's why you always had to have the tanker.
Correct.
Because it carried the.
Correct.
Yeah.
And mostly why you have to have the tanker is because we don't have water source. We don't have a hydrant. So the tanker fills this engine, which the engine fights the fire.
Yeah, right.
Well, you've given me some good information here. I feel more comfortable, but I'd still like to look at the
Sure.
equipment.
Yeah.
And we got time,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that.
So you all will get with Chief then?
Yeah.
After court, between now and next court?
I'll let him know.
And you all can coordinate a time where you all can dive into it a little deeper?
Yeah.
Yep, that'd be good.
Judge, I would hope that we could somehow work together and coordinate this prior to meetings so that, if myself or Brian or Billy Ray has a question, we can go do this and look at it prior to coming here with the resolution.
Yeah, it's a short notice for this.
Well, I will say, we try to do a very good job in getting you all the information on Friday. And I think.
Well, I looked through it for an example.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a question for me, so I didn't call you.
Right.
But if I have a question, I'm going to call you. I'm not going to wait
We try
till
to get it to you all on Friday, so that gives you, Friday, part of Friday. I mean, if you got to call a department head on a Saturday when you're looking at it, or you have all day Monday. I mean, we've done that since we took office 8 years ago. I know y'all never had that option back before when the previous administration, so we really try to do it. But at the same time, I think as as we work together more, you all are going to find that we got really good people.
Yeah, we're in the infancy.
And
still
y'all are
growing.
going to build relationships, and you're going to build trust, and you're going to know that we run a tip-top administration, and that we've got tip-top people that are helping make these decisions. And so pleasure of the court, though. I want y'all to be engaged and informed.
This truck's at Station 2, correct?
This truck typically stays at Station 1, doesn't it?
It varies.
But it goes back and forth, yeah. So, but you all get with Chief, whoever would like. Remember, you can't be a quorum. So, you all, if two of you want to go meet with him, that's fine. But if you're interested, okay. But no more than that. So, thank you all. All right. So that has been now we need to call the roll, right? To table this till next.
Till next board meeting.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Puckett?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, next, Resolution 2023-11. This is Grant Writer Bid Award. Jill.
A resolution awarding a bid for grant writing services, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids for projects in accordance with the Administrative Code, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court requested bids for a grant writer to provide development, writing, submission, administration, and reporting of grant proposals, and whereas the bid notice was properly posted, and the Madison County Fiscal Court received 2 bids, and whereas the Madison County Judge Executive, Deputy Judge Executive, and Treasurer have reviewed the bids and wish to award the bid to Sherrill Cross and enter into a contract for grant writing service in the amount of $40,000 per year, which is attached hereto this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2023-11. Any discussion?
Just one, Judge. The cost, how did you come to the cost?
So this is actually a cost savings. Go ahead.
She bid it.
Yeah, she bid for that amount.
I didn't come to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But it is a cost savings. Our previous contract was for $50,000. They terminated that contract with the proper notice, and then when we rebid it, she bid, the bid was for $40,000, which ultimately saved us $10,000.
And Steve, Brian, Cheryl, she's local, she's been doing this for a long time, and she's good. So,
Everybody needs a good grant writer.
We had her before. She chose to, several years ago, she chose to go be a grandmama. And she, I think, picked her grandkids up from school and stuff. She's great. I'm glad to have her back, have the opportunity to get her back. I want to thank Tom Webb, too, though. I want to thank Tom Webb for his service to the county the last couple of years. I would just ask you all to keep Tom in your prayers. Tom's had some pretty significant health issues the last year, but do appreciate his service to the county and helping us and working with us. All right, any other conversation, any other discussion? We do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2023-11. Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
yes.
Puckett?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Next is Resolution 2023-12. This is the purchase of snow trucks. Before Scott reads, if y'all remember, we had this discussion last fiscal court meeting. I did not hear from anybody about moving forward or not moving forward, so I've had it on the agenda today to present to you all a resolution to purchase these snow trucks. So, Scott?
Resolution 2023-12, a resolution approving the purchase of 3 snow trucks for the Madison County Road Department. Whereas Madison County Road Department received a quote from Bluegrass International to purchase 3 snow trucks under Kentucky DOT Master Agreement 605-000000448 in the amount of $679,001.85. which consists of an individual cost of $226,333.95 per truck. And whereas the purchase amount will be included in the 2023-2024 road budget And whereas Madison County Road Department Supervisor Scott Shepard has received the quote and wishes to enter into a contract with Bluegrass International to purchase 3 snow trucks with an anticipated delivery date of April 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Scott. Y'all heard Resolution 2023-12. Do I have a motion and a second to approve?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-12. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Well, I gotta say, I think it's too high, and I think that it's a little bit overreaction. I think that if you look at the economy, we're heading toward a recession, and these supply chain issues is going to start moderating, and I think that, and I could be wrong, that price is way too high right now, I think, and I think they're going to come down. That's my opinion. And
Have you ever seen things come down, Billy Ray?
yeah.
Have you seen cars come down, that type of product? Yeah, I know you've seen milk and eggs, gasoline fluctuate, but have you ever seen cars come down?
I'm just telling you, double the price, and then, and then they hold us, got this squeeze on saying, you got to order right now, else you won't get them for 2 or 3 years, and I'm not seeing it. And $200,000. Now, are you familiar with TEPCO?
Very familiar.
I mean, them guys are one of the biggest truck bed manufacturers in the daggone country.
Mm-hmm.
We got Eastern Kentucky's loaded with truck bed manufacturers. And, I mean, if we considered buying a Bear truck and have TEPCO make a bid for us.
Make a bid for?
Build the beds.
Well, they have done some beds for us.
Yeah.
But they can't furnish me the truck.
Well, I think we can do better.
I'll have to say, when you bring up TEPCO, I happen to know the Faulkner family that owns it very well, and Mike was telling me a month ago they can't get trucks. That's their problem. They can't get trucks, so they're behind on their business, Billy Ray.
Yeah.
So
I had several questions too, Scott. I went and looked online just to see a truck, what one of these would cost, and about $200,000 without anything on it. No bed, no snowplow. My question is, the ones we have 10, correct?
Yes.
Are those prioritized anyway? Are we like preserving half of that fleet and reserve it for certain special duties so that they last longer, or they all use the same amount, or?
They're all dedicated strictly to snow removal. They're not used for anything else. And what I do is, we sat down years ago when I came here, and every time that we come up with this plan to get a new truck every year, which we've not gotten 3 years, but when I replace a truck that's now in snow service, I take that truck out and hand it down to the everyday service. And then the truck that was in everyday service is now completely wore out, so we take it out of fleet. And that was my goal, is to always have a step-down program to have vehicles following each other so we never run out of either of the everyday dirt trucks, and always have our snow trucks inside ready to go whenever we need to be deployed.
But you can imagine, our snow trucks, if you do snow and just dirt, you're changing, you're taking the blades off and the soft box out, and you're swapping that back and forth. There's a cost in labor to obviously do that. Wear and tear just on the equipment, taking something on and off, on and off, on and off. And then it's more wear and tear on that truck. Weather elements and stuff like that. So we feel like with the snow, and I have to say, our Madison County citizens really appreciate and expect the job that we do when it comes to snow removal. And I would sure hate to not to have the equipment and the things that we need to plow snow on a snow day. I would. So, and if we don't buy these, it's 2027 before we get a truck.
That's what they say.
It is, yeah.
That's what they say, but I I don't believe it.
And I'm not going to disagree with Billy Ray. I think it's too high too. But
I understand where you're coming from.
was 120,000 too high 3 years ago when we got ridiculed for buying them?
Well, I'll agree with Billy Ray and with Scott, the price of those trucks is too high. However, if you guys think back just a couple of years ago, what were we paying for cruisers 3 or 4 years ago? We used to get them for about $40,000. Now, we just paid $66,000 for cruisers. Stuff's going up, it's not coming back down. I wish it was, but we see that in every single aspect of our life. It's bad that, I guess the governor calls it price gouging. And to some degree, maybe it is. But the fact of the matter is that we want trucks, we're going to pay for trucks. I wish it would come back down, but I don't see it happening.
And I would agree with your comment on that, Tom. And Billy Ray, I understand your concerns. My concern is we're here to serve our constituents. And if we don't have the proper equipment, no matter what the price is, and we can't get out to clear the roads, then they're after us. You, me, Tom, and the county judge and Brian. So it's a tough decision. It's not an easy decision. Your points are well taken.
Well, I'm not saying we don't need the trucks.
I know, but that's where and I know that. And I know where your heart is. You're just trying to talk about the pricing and everything, and I appreciate that and glad you're bringing it up. I'm just concerned that if 27 is true, that puts us in a heck of a position.
If it's true, it's bad. I mean, it's not good, but.
We got a motion.
Right now, if it wasn't for salesman, no call on Scott, we couldn't get trucks right now.
I would never
There was a
know
cancellation, wasn't there?
Cancellation, yeah.
Judge, we got a motion.
You got a motion? All right, so we have a motion to approve Resolution 2023-12. We already have a motion, a second, don't we?
That's what I'm saying. We got a motion.
I believe that was called question.
Yeah. So, no more discussion, call the roll.
Pastor Hughes?
No.
Pastor Bakker?
Yes.
Pastor Combs? Yes. Pastor Lockmuir?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all for the discussion.
Thanks, Scott, appreciate it. All right, personnel. Morning, good morning.
Good morning. So I would just like to propose the approval of all personnel changes and hires that were included within your all's court packets.
All right, upon Morgan's recommendation, do I have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Pastor Bakker?
Yes.
Pastor Combs? Yes. Pastor Lockmuir?
Yes.
Pastor Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you, Morgan. Appreciate it a lot. Next is Judge's report. Just got a few quick announcements. Got a lot going on in our community over the next few weeks. Remember that starting tomorrow, Mayor, is it tomorrow? ILA Classic starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, a reminder that the Boys and Girls 2023 ILA Classic basketball will be the 25th through the 29th at EKU Alumni Coliseum. We are proud of our Berea Community Lady Pirates that made it to the tournament this year. So the hometown girls will be playing local. So good luck to the Berea Lady Pirates. Whitehall is hosting their annual Valentine's Day Tea on Saturday, February the 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. Please see their website or Facebook page for required reservations. The Madison Community Band will be hosting their 2023 winter concert at First Baptist Church in Richmond on Sunday, February the 19th at 3 p.m. Our very own Mayor Robert Blythe State of the City address will be Thursday, February the 23rd at 8:30 a.m. at the EKU Perkins Building. I would encourage everybody that could attend to please attend. Mayor Blythe always does an excellent job. This is put on through the Richmond Chamber of Commerce, and that's where you'll need to reserve, get your tickets and reservations. The 3 Madison County chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution has partnered with the Battle of Richmond Visitor Center to collect used prescription pill bottles. The bottles will be used in shipments of medical supplies headed overseas. The guidelines are rather strict, so please call the Battle of Richmond Visitor Center at 859-624-0013 for more information. These are normally those little brown pill bottles that they're looking to recycle to be able to ship medicine and stuff overseas. So, but reach out to Philip He's our Director of Historic Parks, Battle of Richmond. And reach out to Philip if you're interested in participating with the Daughters of American Revolution in collecting those pill bottles. The Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed on Monday, February the 20th, 2023 for the President's Day holiday. We will reopen on February the 21st. That's the end of my judge's report. Comments from magistrates. Brian, how about I start with you today? I need to get in the habit of used to do it. I'm going to start with you every time this year, Brian. I'm going to start it back up. Next year, but you start first, and we'll just go around. So, Brian, you're going to be up first.
I appreciate the discussion. I know we're in troubling times, inflation and cost. That burden is theirs to bear. And so I do appreciate the discussion. And Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, my man. Steve.
I too will agree with Brian. Our discussions are good discussions. They're needed discussions, and appreciate everybody and their point of view. A couple items. One, I serve at the pleasure of the court on the water board, and our first meeting is Thursday, so I will be attending that. I also serve at the pleasure of the court on the Valley View Ferry Authority. And if you haven't been on Facebook, you haven't seen the fact that I've been busy. I very much have enjoyed the interrelationship with the board. We had a board meeting here a couple weeks ago over in Nicholasville. I went up to Lexington because we're in a project right now where we're spending up to about $100,000 to redo and to refurbish the boat, the ferry itself. And there's going to be a little bit of work done on the barge. But I've interfaced, the Lexington government is doing the work. I actually went up to their facility and met a couple board members up there and put some pictures out on Facebook. So I've enjoyed representing this court on that board, and I just wanted to bring everybody up to date.
Appreciate it, Steve. To the record.
Scott, I just want to go on record on that obstruction on the creek down on Union City Road. Have you heard any update on that?
Judge Taylor had met with Kelly Baker. That is a state road. That's off our right-of-way, so we couldn't work on it. So he reached out to Kelly. Kelly has assured him that they are making plans to clean that out. I'm not sure if it's been done yet or not. But I know that the state is aware of the problem. They know that it is flooding Union City Road, and I know that they said they were going to take care of it.
I just bringing it up, just put it on the record, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
They are, Kelly Baker and Shane Tucker came down a couple weeks ago, looked at the situation. The last I heard was they were going to try to trap those beavers and then get it cleaned out. So, yep. Anything else, Billy? Right?
That's it.
All right, Tom, please.
I just had a couple calls this week, Judge, about the roadside ditches on old US 25 KY 3376. I'm not sure who has done it, but here within the last week there has been some trees cut down, and they've cleaned up most of the stuff, but they've left some pretty good sized pieces in the ditches. And there was an accident last week where a gentleman was pulling a trailer and a wheel dropped off, hit one of those big pieces, bounced it back over into the road, and was a pretty near miss. The folks fortunately coming, were paying attention, were able to avert hitting it. But at any rate, I'll be going to Bluegrass Energy. I talked to State this morning. They are not the ones that have cleared it, so I'm going to check with the energy company to see if they are clearing for their lines, power lines, and try to get them to,
so it wasn't
if
the
it is
state.
them, it's not the state.
It's not transportation cabinet.
It's not the transportation cabinet, so please don't call the state complaining about that. It's not them. So it may be the energy, Bluegrass Energy. I'll follow up with that after court and see what I can find out about that. And that's all I have, Judge. Anyone needs me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Counsel? Good. Kenny? Do you have anything?
No.
Steve? Everybody good? All right. Appreciate everybody being here today. Comments from department heads. Anybody need to address the court today? All right. Comments from audience, or do we have any Facebook comments? We do not. We do not? All right. And no audience comments. All right, I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
So we have a motion and a second. Second. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller? Master Hughes?
Yes.
Baca?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next fiscal court meeting will be February the 14th, 2023. That will be back in Berea. Remember our new schedule. New location is Berea, the first meeting, Richmond, the second meeting of the month. So we'll be back in Berea on February the 14th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. I also would like the court members to put it on their agenda to put a hold on February the 7th. We are going to try to have a work session to discuss broadband and the economic development actually in the county. We will be in touch with everybody once we firm that up, and the location will probably either be at the EOC or the JIC, but we'll let everybody know. I just want everybody to put a hold to have a work session on the 7th at 9:30, please.
Can you televise from the JIC?
It will not be televised. This will be a work session. We will not televise, but it'll be a public meeting. Yes. All right. There you go.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Baca?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Appreciate everybody.